Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be going through the round 14 tipping, in which I did get a 4 out of 7, bringing me to a total tipping of 80 and a round rank in the top 39%, and then an overall rank of 348,000 out of, I believe, somewhere close to 860 or so thousand, so still around that top 40% or so. But anyway, let's jump into this recap of the tips of round 14 and go through and tip for round 15. Now, I may have forgotten to put my tip in of the St Kilda Bulldogs game, and it probably didn't help me out so much because I got a massive margin out of it, but I still would have probably got a big margin. I'm pretty sure I tipped about 10 minutes into the game, and we said this last week, that I tipped Dogs by 30. And in the end, they did win by 72, which they smashed them, deservedly so. And yeah, so it didn't really help out, but it probably just, it helped out that I at least got the tip for the Dogs there on the actual scoring there. But anyway, the next game, I had Adelaide by 12 points. I thought they'd get over the line over the Hawks, and it was just a scrubby game from memory. And yeah, Newcomb was able to kick a goal very close to the end to get the Hawks in front. I tipped Adelaide by 12, so I was 15 points off there. And so we move on to the Saturday games, and I didn't expect Brisbane to kick, what was it, 13 goals 18, I want to say, against GWS's 17 goals 5. So yeah, they just blew this game, absolutely, back-to-back weeks that they had blown games. And so they needed a response this week, and we'll get to that video, well, not that video, that game later on in this video. But yeah, I was sort of surprised about that. I had Brisbane by 25. If Brisbane even kicked, say, 18 goals 13, that's 108, 121. They win by 14. That looks semi-realistic, even up against GWS's 17 goals 5, which included a breakout game from Cadman. One thing I will say, this game did feel good that it was back to sort of a semblance of the key forwards, with Logan kicking 5, Jesse Hogan kicking 6, and then also Cadman kicking 5 himself, I believe. Then we had Geelong against Essendon. I had Geelong by 30 points in this game, but they blew it out the water. They won by 95 points, so I was 65 points off there. And that means that my margin's already blown out for this round 14. And then we get to Fremantle versus North Melbourne. North gave up a really, really good fight in this game, even though they're at their second home, I would say, almost their third home, you would say. Optus Stadium now with that deal that they have to sell home games. And they gave up a really good fight, and they were close. They were very, very close to winning this one. But Fremantle edged over the line and really have kicked into form, you'd say. They've really kicked into form, and are now on, well, after this week's game, they are now, what's that, round 15. They've played, I think, 14 games, so I'm pretty sure they're 9-5, and they have a really good run. So Freo could be that team this year that really surprises most, as they look set. They need 4 wins to make finals out of the last, is it 8 games for them? And they have a pretty good fixture coming up. I'm pretty sure they still have to play West Coast again, which will help them out a little bit. But yeah, I had Freo by 35. They ended up winning by only 6. So that's a 29-point difference there. And margin continues to blow out. And then I dumbly picked Melbourne in this game. I don't know why. I picked Melbourne by 21 points. They obviously lost by the 25 points. So I was 46 points off there. And yeah, they just couldn't control Georgiades, who kicked 7. Yep. And then you've got Carlton against West Coast. This game was just a shocker. And in the end, I picked Carlton by 36. So it was actually a really good tip because they won by 34, which puts me only 2 points off in that game itself. So a really good result there. Now we move on to round 15. I actually did get the tips in and on time in this one. So first game, I tipped Fremantle by 35. And they won by 41 over the likes of Essendon. So that was a really good tip there. Essendon now head into their bye. And Essendon's season's pretty much over. You can say that. They head into their bye, 15 games. They're 6-9, I want to say now. They're 6-8 because they had that less game because of the cyclone that hasn't been replayed yet. So they're 6-8. And yeah, they're very much in a precarious position just because Their season's pretty much over because they don't really have that top end performance to be able to beat those really good sides like the Western Bulldogs, the Port Adelaides, and all those sort of sides. That they really will struggle, I feel like, to actually generate the wins. And yeah, it feels like in a really horrific position. They obviously got all the injuries and stuff like that, so I just can't see them really competing for the next a little bit. They've got so much squad clearing out to do. Then for some reason I picked Geelong in this game, much like most of the crowd. I just went Geelong by 15. They were playing at home. Dangerfield's 350th. Stengel's 100th. I thought that would get him over the line, but Logan Morris was just outstanding. He kicked 5 in the end, back-to-back 5 goal games for him. So he ended up just being a massive difference in this game, even while Jezza did kick 4 as well. So it was more so the bad turnovers from Geelong. They had at least 8 to 10 short 15, 20 meter kicks that were just cut off, so easily cut off. And I think that was just a big difference in the end. So yeah, I was 56 points off with that tip in the end. Then the 120 start, we've got Carlton against North Melbourne. I'm going to go Carlton in this game. I just think that Carlton are going to be able to beat North Melbourne, even though I think Charlie Curnow is a test at the moment. We can actually look at the lineups. They are going dual ruck from memory from the lineups that I saw. Let me just see what their forward line looks like. So you've got in this one, if we go to Carlton here, you've got Curnow still playing, Mitchell McGovern playing off half forward. I thought he was playing half back last week, so that just shows how much I was in tune with the game last week. But yeah, that is a weird one, putting Zach Williams on ball and not someone like a George Hewitt. That is how this lineup looks so bad on paper here, just looking at it. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, will be interesting to see how the dual ruck goes against Cherry. But I just have a feeling that they win this one in this game by, I think, 25 points. I think they will struggle to really convert in the second half. And I think North Melbourne will hold it tight-ish. But I think that they'll always be 1 or 2 kicks too far away. And they'll be able to just, do well. Port Adelaide against Sydney. This one's interesting. 89% picking Port Adelaide. Ollie Wines injured is a huge one. If you actually look at it, I know that they've gone dual rucks. They're Vicentini and Jordan Sweet. But also for Sydney, you've just got so many guys coming back. You've got 4 arguably you've got a top 5 here and then 2 top 10s. And then you'd probably say Matt Roberts is in the top 15 players for Sydney coming back. And for Port Adelaide, they lose. Alir is a huge, monumental out. Having one less tall in that backline, it is now Asava Radaglia and Brandon Zerk Thatcher in that backline. If they can kick it away from Asava Radaglia, I mean, Lockie Jones isn't that tall. He's 186, so he'll be playing on Will Hayward, you would expect. And then you've also got Miles Bergman, who is probably going to play in the midfield, you would expect. He probably shouldn't be playing down back at 190 centimeters. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see because he probably shouldn't be playing down back. And then you'd have Ryan Burton, you would think, almost as their third tall, who he doesn't really strike me as that good of a sort of intercept player. Let's actually just go back here. And that could be sort of critical because if we just look here at his sort of intercepts, if we go his defense, let's just go to his spoils, etc. You can see they're not really, I mean, he hasn't really played, etc. But it doesn't look like he's going to be, if we actually go to marking, it should be in here. If we go intercept marks, he's just averaging 1 per game. Whereas if we look at anyone here, such as like even just a Miles Bergman when he was playing down back, and just look at him comparatively, I just want to see this marks, intercept marks, he's going at 1.9 per game, 1.2, 1.8. So it just shows the difference there that Miles Bergman is a much better defender than Ryan Burton. And that's who they've got on the third tool, which will be on Aaron Francis, I believe, if my memory serves me correct. Let's look at Sydney's forward line. They've got Amadi, they've got McLean and Aaron Francis there. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how that goes there with Sydney and how that sort of lines up. This is probably the best, this is the best lineup they've had all year. Also, having Errol Gordon back is really just good for the side. Will be interesting to see where Callum Mills plays today as well. This is being recorded on the Saturday. because he's lined up on the wing 3 times and not actually played on the wing in either of the first 2 games. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to go with Sydney with my side in this one by 15 points. I know Port Adelaide have an amazing good record against Sydney in the past. But if you look at it, Sydney did win the, well, it doesn't show it here, but they did win the last game, which was the most critical game ever between these 2 sides in the elimination final, was it, or something? Or the qualifier? I don't get what it was, but it was the game to get into the grand final. And Sydney won it. So there's that. Collingwood against St Kilda. Collingwood are going to blow these guys, these whingers, complainers out of the park here. I'm going to go Collingwood by 39 points. I think they'll basically take the just take the foot off the gas in the last quarter there. And yeah, but they'll try and tag Nick Dacos, but I don't think it'll have too much impact on the game. Then you got GWS against Gold Coast. NG Stadium. GWS don't have Sam Taylor, which I think is a huge out. And if you look at I know that they've got Toby Green coming in, but yeah, Brett Daniels and Sam Taylor are huge out. Whereas if you look at the likes of Gold Coast, they've got the extra ruck in Ethan Reed as well, which should really, I think that's a massive advantage if you actually look at it. I think Ethan Reed compared to like a, compared to a Jake Riccardi is a massive win for Gold Coast. I also think the fact that they've got Jared Witts in there as well is still a massive win for Gold Coast. In terms of the ruck battle, I think he'll be able to give them first use, and Gold Coast's midfield should really match up well against GWS's Bedford, Callaghan and Green. So I'm actually going to go against the grain here and go Gold Coast, and I think they steal it here on Sunday by 18 points. And then you've got Western Bulldogs against Richmond. This would be so Western Bulldogs to find a way to lose this, but I don't think you can tip that scenario. So I'm going to go Western Bulldogs in this one by 46 points. A rather short video, as we do have 4 teams, 2 games worth on the bye. But those are my tips for round 15. And also we went through earlier in the video and reviewed round 14 tips, me getting 4 out of 7. I've already got 1 wrong this week. Let's hope that's the last one I get wrong for the week. If you guys did enjoy that video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and I will see you guys in the next video tomorrow. Bye guys.